Good afternoon, everybody. Coming at you live from the Fantasy Dojo studios. It's the Fantasy Football Dojo. Welcoming you today, I'm Mark.
I am Mike.
And I'm Kirk.
And we're coming at you with Week 1 action. We're going to talk about each game, give you some fantasy advice. We're also going to lay it on the line with some bold predictions and just talk about football in general because it's Week 1. Holy beep. I don't know
Self-censoring.
I don't know about you guys, but this is like a holiday for me.
It is. Other than MLB opening day and first weekend of March Madness, this is one of the happiest days of the year.
It is.
Honestly, I love how it's the happiest day of the year, but it's also the one filled with the most rage and
Yes.
anger.
Well,
Because
this
you just see
evening.
just how bad your draft
Right.
went.
That's this evening. As of right now, we can dive right in and discuss briefly the mauling that was the Thursday night opener.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
I will take back everything I ever said the past 2 weeks that Seattle's defense is going to take a step back and not be as good because they made one of the best offenses in the league look like me playing Madden.
Yeah,
So-
it was
And they
pretty
caved
impressive.
in Eddie Lacy's skull.
They did.
So, that's something.
Which actually I wasn't that upset about because the guy I'm playing this week started it.
And it begins.
Yeah. In all honesty, Lacy will probably be fine. Probably out, a week or two? We don't even know.
Yeah,
He's going through the protocol.
James Starks
But-
playing against anything that's not Seattle is a decent start, though.
Yeah.
If Lacey is out, so we'll let that be
Go
known.
get James Starks.
He's a little more of an upright runner than Lacey.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
quite
he's
as
no
dynamic.
Eddie Lacy, but he can do the job, and he's done it before. So
that
he's
offense
not
will
as big a
bounce
risk.
back. Rodgers won't have that bad of a game probably again the whole
No.
season.
No, he'll be fine.
So I mean, Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb still had productive games.
Yeah.
For the Packers, especially if you're in a PPR format.
Jordy Nelson had a great game.
On the Seattle side,
Yep.
Russell Wilson does what Russell Wilson does and is steady, scores touchdowns, throws to people that we've never heard of.
And how about the glass man? How about the glass man Percy Harvin putting up numbers?
Percy Harvin, if he keeps that up, is going to be exactly who we thought he was.
You didn't have Ricardo Lockett?
I didn't, I slept on Mr. Lockett.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the story for Seattle all year. You're going to be waiting for your Doug Baldwin or your Harvin to catch a touchdown. It'll be Lockett or Zach Miller, one of these other
Also
guys.
of note, we have the first John Kuhn touchdown
Of course.
Yeah.
of the season.
Everybody
For you
loves
Lacey
a good
owners,
Which
that
actually,
was,
I loved it. I actually texted Mike as soon as it happened and said collectively every Eddie Lacy owner just said the F word.
they did the bruh.
Bruh.
They really did.
Yeah, so, all right, so which game are we talking about first? Let's go into the matchups.
Let's go over a couple quick inactives first.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're relying on Cecil Shorts, God forbid, don't start him because he's not playing. Same with Kenny Stills.
Yeah, if you're
Kenny Stills
relying
is out.
on Shorts or Stills,
Stop playing fantasy.
Yeah.
or make some trades.
or
and by
get out of
trades-
that 16-team league you're in.
Yeah, you probably lost whatever buy-in you put in for that league. But, yeah, he's out. They're both out.
But Gronk is healthy. He probably won't play all the snaps, but he is healthy. So got to get him in.
Question. Do you still start Gronk?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Gronk says you always start Gronk.
That's very true.
Gronk will find you if you
Yeah.
don't start Gronk, actually.
Yeah, there's not, other than Julius Thomas and obviously Jimmy Graham, there's not another surefire thing if healthy at tight end. So, and it's Miami.
Very good.
Start everyone.
Well, yeah, let's get right into the games because we're going to be wrapping up at, 1:45?
Yeah, so we
Give
can- so
everybody
we can
some
actually
buffer
go
so we
watch
can
the
actually
games
get
as
to
well.
the bar and watch the game.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Let's start off with our local homeboys, the Ravens,
Oh, boy.
hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, we were talking about this. It's going to get ugly.
Yeah.
I don't know how many points are going to get scored in this game. You're probably going to have a couple of guys get some big yardage numbers, but I don't know if there's going to be that many touchdowns.
The early reports are Lardarius Webb is out, so Shockey Brown will be starting in the secondary. So that means obviously A.J. Green was always a good start. You never bench him. And then that pretty much vaults Mohamed Sanu into almost wide receiver 2 territory, especially in PPR, because
He'll get some looks, that's
he's
for
going
sure.
to get a lot
Say
of looks.
it's a strong flex if you have nobody else.
Yeah, I mean, their talent pool's a little watered down because Marvin Jones is out. They do have Gresham and Eifert, so I mean, they do have the two tight ends going. But I being a Ravens fan, living in the Baltimore area, I'm excited about the football season, but I think this is going to be ugly for the Ravens.
This is going to be tough for the Ravens.
But on the Baltimore side of the
Here's
ball,
a
yeah.
fun stat. Bernard Pierce averaged 2.9 yards a carry last year.
Yeah, so the hype train just kind of screeched to a
Ray
halt
Rice
a
may
little
not be
bit.
playing, but I wouldn't count too heavily on Bernard Pierce, especially with Cincinnati's defense.
Yeah.
Geno Atkins is back, and they're a formidable defense, especially against the run. I wouldn't start Bernard Pierce today. It would take a lot for me to start Bernard Pierce.
Yeah, it just doesn't match up numbers-wise. I mean, really, if you have Torrey Smith as a wide receiver 3, That's easily a safe or a flex. I don't like him even at a 2
Torrey
though.
Smith is worth playing. Pitta should play.
Pitta,
You've got Pitta.
yeah,
Play
I've
Pitta.
got Pitta going in a couple leagues because he's definitely going to be a target for Joe. Joe loves him.
Well, dude, they're going to need him. They're going to have to try
yeah.
to draw the deep shot with Steve Smith Sr. and just try to undercut with Pitta all day.
Yeah.
That's going to be the best way to beat that defense is run the play they haven't run in 10 years, which is a slant route.
Yeah. They don't do a whole lot of that.
They don't, but it works.
And if Darquez Gennard, I think it's Darquez, right? Darquez Denard.
Darquez, I think.
I don't know.
know.
The rookie
Mr.
corner,
Denard.
the rookie corner for Cincinnati, who everybody seems to love. If he's as good as Leon Hall, we're in big trouble. All right.
So moving on.
Any other analysis on that Ravens-Bengals game? I don't think it's gonna be a whole lot of.
I mean,
points
I don't
to it.
like either defense.
We love Gio Bernard, but that's just
Yeah, I
'cause we
mean,
love Gio Bernard.
sorry. I'm ashamed that I forgot to mention him. It goes without saying. I have him in every league I possibly could.
Yeah, Mike wants to make out with Gio Bernard, but that's okay.
I'm totally cool if he has 10 plus catches against my home team.
So am I.
He's looking into He's looking to be 16 to 20 touches. They said Jeremy Hill. They're looking at a Thunder and Lightning routine apparently. So Jeremy Hill probably still going to get 10 to 12 touches. If you're in a deep mixed league, you may want to start him at a flex because he might get some red zone carries, and he's really good. He is very talented.
But in our league PPR, you've got to start Gio.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You gotta start Gio in every league. I mean,
Yeah.
the Ravens defense is decent, but
Until
not
he proves us
amazing.
wrong, you got to start Gio. I mean, that's against every team. So
Well, we might as well just go 1, 2, 3 with the home teams. I'll take
Let's
the
do it.
next shot with Atlanta hosting.
got the
the
prime time
Saints.
jersey.
Prime time.
Yeah, stand up a little bit. Your laptop. There you go.
Prime
Throwback prime time.
Throwback prime time. I wish we had prime time, quite frankly,
I
because the
wish.
Saints are gonna just shred our defense. But it'll be fantasy fun for everybody.
I think everyone
I-
scores, and you get a
Every one of
touchdown,
both
and you get a touchdown.
It'll be like Oprah, and you get
I
a
would
touchdown. Everybody
honestly-
look under your chairs, and you find a touchdown. There you go. There's not a whole lot of analysis here. Anybody that you have on either one of these teams is probably worth a start. The Saints defense is better than it was last year. They got Jarris Bird. They've now got, they had Champalion, then they tossed him to the scrap heap. But
Put him out to pasture.
start Roddy White, start Julio Jones. I mean, this is not genius level stuff here. The one guy everybody seems to want to talk about and has no idea what to do with is
I know who
Brandon
this
Cooks.
is. I know who this is.
Brandon Cooks. Brandon with an IN, which
Yep.
I like. That's stylish.
Because his brand is in right now.
It is. I'll let Mike take this one because I don't have really much analysis other than if you take him, he could end up with nothing or he could score 20 points. I have no idea.
I mean, I've been fully torqued on Brandon Cooks the whole preseason.
He has.
So I'd say he's easily a flex play in PPR. In Standard League, again, they're going to probably have 4 to 5 touchdowns scored. Now,
It's a little aggressive, but okay. I'll go with it.
I'm going with it. So he figures to be in the mix. I wouldn't put him over, other kind of flex plays that are out there like the one we were talking about earlier, Crabtree, in a lot of leagues. If you're fortunate enough to have him as a flex, he's definitely a better play.
Yeah.
But I mean, I say roll with him if fear is
Cooks
high
is
on
gonna
him
get
as
some action. Kenny Stills is out, like we said. I mean,
Yeah.
they're a high-powered offense. You could do worse than Brandon Cooks as a flex play.
and I hope you're not, but if you're in a league that does return yardage, Cooks will be returning kicks from what
Ooh,
we're
that's
told.
good. I did not know
And
that.
he is very talented. So, that gives him a little extra boost. But I don't think he's definitely not up in the wide receiver 1 or 2 category yet. But as a flex or a wide receiver 3, you could do worse. And it'll be exciting to see what he can do. But I'd say in this matchup, what are we thinking? The usual Steven Jackson is risky. Because
No, I say play
you
Steven
like Steven
Jackson while he's still in
While
one
he's still-
piece.
okay, while he's
I mean,
still
if you've
together.
got him on your team, you might as well play him now because you might not get him later.
That's true.
So, I mean, it depends on who you're choosing between, but yeah. I think we all need to remember Julio Jones had 580 receiving yards in 6 games last year before he hurt himself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say start Julio Jones, but he's probably one of the top guys this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you say, Kirk? Any insight on that game?
Honestly, you guys pretty much covered it for the most part. I mean, there's not much I can add as far as
It's a no-brainer. Pretty much everyone starts if you have
start
them.
Matt Ryan. I mean, unless you've got an Aaron Rodgers or a Drew Brees to start over top of him,
Right.
you start Matt
Yeah,
Ryan.
Ryan's a top 6 play probably this week.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason you should have a
In
QB
the
better
dome.
than Matt Ryan.
Side note for people that maybe just be getting into it to fantasy football and they might look at the stats from last year, don't buy in heavily on Harry Douglas. because obviously
Yeah.
he filled in when Julio Jones was out. He's a
He's the
good
third
player,
receiver.
but yeah, his role is definitely diminished now that Jones is back. So just be careful of that. I don't like him in any play, no matter how deep the league is. There is a lot of mouths to feed on that team, and I just don't think
And
he's
Matt
gonna
Ryan only likes to feed to him.
yeah, pretty much. But Roddy White on the upside is going to bounce back strong.
Roddy's a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
As far as I'm
Say,
concerned,
that's
until he
the
goes
second
and
mouth
blows
to
up.
feed.
Yeah.
Say it's Julio Jones and Roddy White.
They no longer have Tony Gonzalez. I don't know how good Toilolo is going to be,
I love that name.
but it is a good name.
So
All right, let's move on because we got a bunch of games here. Kirk, let's take a couple shots at your team. Why
Yeah,
not?
great.
The
Washington,
Redskins.
say they're at home against Houston.
yeah.
The big news for Houston is Ryan Fitzpatrick is starting.
Yeah, that's super big news.
That's well, honest.
This just in. Ryan Fitzpatrick, quarterback of the Houston Texans.
It's
I don't know what to say.
Fitzpatrick is another one of those guys who was a lot like a Tony Banks, who was a lot like Jason Campbell. The fact that he showed you at certain points, like this guy can actually put up numbers, but then you realize, wow, that was a really crappy defense they were playing against. So
Yeah, he's a slinger.
he is. I mean, he is very much Brett Favre-esque as far as he's either going to throw for 4 touchdowns or 4 picks. Maybe both. Who knows?
He's like the NFL version of a volume shooter in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, it's
he
safe
may
to
miss
say-
a lot, but he'll take a lot too. So.
I'm not a huge Redskins fan, but it's safe to say would you call them kind of an opportunistic defense? Like they're going to try to
They're either
to get at him.
it is boom or bust.
Right, exactly.
They're going to sack him 100 times or give up 100 touchdowns,
Yeah.
or he's going to get picked 10 times, or it's going to be a real coin flip.
There's no
play to-
medium ground there.
Literally every play, it's going to be just flip it and see what happens.
It should be noted that all the Houston skill players actually did relatively well last year, even though the quarterback situation was a disaster. Andre Johnson Arian
helped me out a
Foster
lot.
when he was healthy. I love Arian Foster this week. That's another guy you might as well play him while you can. before he
Yeah.
breaks
Well,
down.
the
But,
Skins have a terrible run
the
defense.
Skins don't
so
defend the run. So yeah, I mean that's
So
pretty
the
much-
obvious guys, Andre Johnson, go, and to just hope Fitzpatrick, is upright.
Say,
Most of the
Johnson's
game.
a big enough target that I think Fitzpatrick will find him quite a few
Yeah,
times.
I don't buy into DeAndre Hopkins this week. I still think you wait on him a little bit. I know there was a decent amount of hype for him being kind of a sleeper, and since he's a second-year guy,
Yeah, the Skins defend
I
the
don't-
long pass pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
So at tight end, Garrett Graham's going to be out. If you're looking for a deep tight end, he's not your guy. He won't be playing.
Yeah.
C.J. Federowitz is going to start.
you
Who
could say that again.
he's got apparent skill, but I don't think he's ever started.
Yeah.
So it's not a real good.
So start the
option.
running backs, Garcon and D'Angelo.
Or Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun
I like
Jackson.
I like
D'Angelo
Deshaun
Jackson's
Jackson.
good too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his.
Honestly, I don't start Deshaun Jackson this week. I really don't. I don't
Yeah.
think I don't
Depending
think
on who
him.
you got, I could see
Well,
that.
you got to see because Griffin and Deshaun Jackson have huge egos. Both of them do. And honestly, I don't think they've had time to mesh in practice yet.
Yeah.
I don't think they've had enough. Preseason's not enough for that big of an ego to come together.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
already he's got rapport with Garcon already, and he's got rapport with Jordan Reed. Now, granted, do I start Jordan Reed if I have a better option at tight end? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But if he's my only option, granted, he's
you
your
could
only
do
option.
worse.
You could do worse.
But yeah, hopefully Garcon still puts up the PPR numbers that we're all accustomed to from last year, at least
You're
close
counting on
to
him
it.
for a bunch of catches, baby.
Garcon, I'm expecting probably 10 catches, 85 yards, maybe a TD, which is in our
I
league
would love
great.
that.
It's a great game.
I would love
but
that.
he's not going to put up 150 yards, and he's not going to put up 15 catches.
I still think their offense having a new coaching regime, especially, I think it's going to take a little bit for them to gel.
Absolutely
honestly.
is.
So
Speaking of new coaching regimes,
Yep.
here's a segue. We're going to go to the Minnesota St. Louis game, where
it's horribly.
Norv. We have a
Horribly
Norv
Norv.
sighting. Norv is going to take over the Minnesota offense, and that leads me to my lay it on the line prediction of the week. Cordero Patterson's going to have a big game in this one.
Appreciate you saying it right.
Yeah, I know. It was debatable
I
for a while.
swore it was Corderell all last year.
So here's your fun stat for this game. Josh Gordon averaged 18.9 yards per reception last year and led the league in receiving yardage with 1646, despite missing 2 games. Guess who his offensive coordinator was? Norville.
The Norv.
The Norv. So the Norv now goes and coaches Patterson, who's their number 1 receiver. Gordon, 6'3", 225. Cordero, 6'2", 220. And they're both fast as lightning.
Yeah.
But
Big time.
do you
for
think
Cordero
Cordell
Patterson.
has the hands?
I don't think he's as good as Gordon, but it's also, if you think about it, Gordon was a raw, unproven guy. So he had a ton of skill, but he never developed into
very
the,
true.
he's only, 23? I mean, I don't think Patterson's that much younger.
That's very true.
I don't know, man. They don't have anybody else to throw to. I am not a believer in Greg Jennings. Kyle Rudolph's a stiff, but he's a decent tight end in the red zone.
Yeah.
If they're going to move the ball, it's going to be Purple Jesus and Cordero.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a big game.
Another guy that I believe is in the return game.
Yes.
Yeah, so
He
again,
returns kicks.
definitely good play there. On the other side of the ball, it is a hot mess right now. So I mean,
Sean Hill time.
Sean Hill, yeah, it's Sean Hill. Strangely enough, if you had like the career averages, not total stats, obviously, because Sean Hill's been in the league forever, but the actual averages for quarterback rating and completion percentage are on par or better than Bradford. So
Yeah,
if
you can make the argument that they're not losing a whole lot.
if you somehow believed in or still believe in Tavon Austin or Jared Cook, I mean, by all means, go ahead and play them. But I mean, that's on you. I don't like any of them really this week.
Yeah. They're not going to score a ton of points. Zach Stacy's
Zach-
not a bad
right.
pick, but
Zach Stacy,
I
you
wouldn't
probably
put a
have to
whole
play
lot
him
on
because he's probably your running back 1 or 2. Hopefully you're 2. But other than that, I'm actually starting St. Louis's defense in a league or two because they are very aggressive. They're good.
they get a lot of sacks. The D-line's great.
And I don't necessarily believe in Matt Castle. I think Teddy Bridgewater. We'll be talking about Teddy Bridgewater in about 3 to 4 weeks. I feel.
Bridgewater's a guy to keep on the radar.
Yeah.
Because if he plays, he probably will play relatively well, especially in a 2-quarterback league. If you can keep an eye on Bridgewater, or even have him already and stash him.
So.
All right, let's go to Jacksonville at Philly. This is your suicide pool favorite of the week.
Yeah, we were gonna
It's
bring
the
that
only
up.
double-digit spread out of all the games the last time I checked, and it'll probably bite us all right in the keister. That's how it goes every year in suicide pools. But if Philly doesn't score 30, I'll be shocked.
So I see the spread holding up. I actually see Philly just absolutely blowing this thing wide open.
Garbage time though. If you want to take a flyer on anyone on Jacksonville that even is playing, obviously not Shorts, but Marquise Lee has shown some talent.
It's a deep dive, man.
It
I don't
is.
know.
Do we see Bortles today?
No.
You think they let Henny just flounder?
They've sat on Henny for so long and said he's the quarterback for so long. I don't think they.
And they've already come out and said Henny won't be on that short of a
He's
leash.
not going to be on that short of a leash.
So are we pretty sure that there's no one startable on Jacksonville today?
Toby Gerhart.
Okay, so Gerhardt.
Here's the
and
thing,
then-
though. I could definitely see the storyline playing out that Philly jumps out to a 20-0 lead. Doesn't even get a
does
chance.
nothing. Yeah.
So I like Gerhart as probably a running back 2, kind of a low-end running back 2, depending on who you got. But
So he's not.
he'll
even
have better games than this. I know that.
He's not worth the flex. I don't. I think there's better options at flex than Toby
In a
Gerhardt.
non-PPR, probably is, just because he could get some goal line carries if they make it that far. And Philly's defense isn't amazing; they're average. But
Philly's best part of their defense is their offense. That it's going to
Yeah.
be on the field for 36
yeah,
minutes.
they'll keep them off they'll keep the other team's offense off the field.
Nick Foles is a guaranteed start.
Man, we're gonna find out real quick if Foles is for real or not because
I tell you what, I think we found that out last year.
Yeah?
I really do. He came in and he played well for about 10 weeks, 8 weeks.
No, he did.
And he played extremely
he
well.
can't duplicate the interception numbers, but that
No,
doesn't
that
mean
was
that he
ridiculous.
can't have a great year.
Well, the fact that he tied the high and mighty Peyton Manning for most TDs without a pick to start a season, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So, and actually,
Yeah,
that's what you're hoping for this week.
Yeah.
In our league, at least.
Yeah, I got Foley's.
Foley's.
I'm all in on
I was a little
Foley's.
bitter about that, actually. I was actually quite bitter. I'm not gonna lie.
So we're gonna rip through these. We're at about 20 after 12 here. We got
Yep.
20 minutes to get through about
Keep rolling.
8 more games here. So Buffalo at Chicago.
Oh, Chicago's feasting.
Oh,
Let's go all in on them.
Buffalo. Well, here's the thing. One of two things is going to happen. Either what everybody thinks is going to happen, Chicago goes out and blows them out, or Buffalo has some sort of defensive play that makes a play, or one of their big playmakers does something and they keep it close. But I don't know. The chances are Chicago is out there and scores a bunch of points and they win it comfortably. You certainly can't bench anybody on that Chicago offense.
No.
As far as Buffalo goes, I don't like any of them. I really don't. I mean, Sammy Watkins' ribs are hurting him, and he's a rookie anyway. Who knows if E.J. Manuel can get him the ball?
He's as fragile as an iPhone 4 right now.
Wow.
So,
Nice. I like that. It's a good analogy.
yeah. So, I mean, you can't trust him. E.J. Manuel,
No,
no.
he's he's only got Sammy
Stevie
Watkins.
Johnson used to be reliable. He gone.
He gone.
So, I mean, you're not looking at anyone playable. But, yeah, so all in on Bears, all out on Bills.
That's
If
pretty much
Kiko
it.
Alonso was playing, sometimes the Bills' defense was good. But this year, I just don't see him really
They
doing
got
much.
Mario Williams. They got Gilmore at corner. They've got some players.
I mean, when they
but
play
as
like
a
the
team, their
Jets or
defense-
something, maybe.
I mean, let's
but-
put it this way: their defense is better than their offense, but that's not saying
Sure.
a whole lot.
Sure.
But it's not going to keep the Bears down. I can't see
The
it.
Robert Woods, though, in the future, if they get some decent quarterback play, he's actually an interesting person to keep an eye on because he does have a lot of talent. He somehow did pretty well in that offense last year with Manuel struggling. So
And as a streaming defense pick, I like the Bears.
I was going to.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean-
mention that if you guys didn't. It's the Bears D has gone downhill in the last couple seasons, but this is a good start.
oh, real
And they're
quick
at home.
to circle back a little bit. Jordan Reed is active, and your Jersey mate is inactive.
I know he
So
is.
Santana Moss is not going. to
Honestly,
be into that.
if he's owned in 5% of leagues, I'll be shocked.
Well,
But
you know.
I like to represent because Santana Moss is always
Right.
one of my favorite ball players. Period.
Exactly. All right. So what's all up on the docket?
Next game we got is Tennessee at the Chiefs.
All right.
Tennessee at the Chiefs. Chiefs are at home.
Such a weird game. I don't know where to go with this game.
It feels like a game I've seen a million times. Like it's the old AFC, AFL, AFL, that whole nonsense.
Honestly, it reminds me of the second game on Thanksgiving Day. It's the one where you've eaten and you're falling asleep.
You're half comatose.
Yeah.
Kansas City lost a lot of guys on this defense. So the big question in this game is, do you trust anybody on Tennessee to do anything? I think you do.
Yeah.
I think somebody's going to do something. I'm not smart enough to tell you who, but you could see, if you're in a 2-quarterback league, start Jake Locker. Why not?
Yeah.
Kansas City has no corners left. They lost
they
Brandon
really
Flowers.
don't.
Sean Smith's their best corner, and he's not great. They don't have. I mean, it's basically Tom Ali and
Is Arenas still there?
no, Arenas is
That's
in
okay,
Atlanta. Actually, I think.
Yeah. So I mean,
Um,
I'm hoping Kendall Wright lives up to what we all expect him to be. Since last season, he had 1,000 yards, and
he finished up
You
on a
know.
heater. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so-
did all right.
I'm hoping that he keeps following through. And like you just mentioned, I think he will as long as Locker stays upright and is in the game because Locker does have some talent.
Wright's a big PPR guy.
What do we think? Sean Green is still the starter for right now, and do we think Sankey Panky's going to do
I'll tell
anything?
you what, man. I'm one of the millions of people that has Bishop Sankey on his bench,
Yeah.
and it's like, just let the guy play, for God's sakes. I don't even care if he's good or not. Just let him play. Sean Green's horrible.
He's pretty bad.
Like, I mean, I know that's not like a genius analysis. Sean Green's terrible.
No, we all know that. So
He's-
they just
you know,
need to give him a
come
chance.
on, Tennessee, get with it. I don't know if the kid can pass block or not and all that nonsense. Let him play. Who cares?
And then so on the Chiefs though, really just I mean Jamal Charles, right? That's it.
We got no
'Cause-
Dwayne Bowe. He's out
Okay.
for
Who
dumb
are their
things.
receivers? Can you name a receiver?
So you wouldn't
Donnie
start.
Avery.
Oh wow. Okay.
You wouldn't start Dwayne Bowe regardless, even if he wasn't.
You hopefully
You could make
would.
an argument for it, but it'd have to be a really deep league, and it'd have to be
That's my point.
probably PPR related. Yeah.
So, but
that
yeah,
offense
I mean,
is Jamal Charles, and that's it. Everybody seems to like this kid Kelsey, their tight
Yeah,
end,
their
is
tight
a
end.
sleeper.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to matter today because I don't think Tennessee's defense is going to allow them to do a whole lot, and they're going to be so focused on Charles. It's going to be Charles. I think Charles is a good game, but that's no surprise.
he always does.
He always does.
Oh, actually, real quick, we have a listener who's on our Facebook, which is facebook.com/the Ninja Legion.
Sweet.
And Scott, he is asked, I don't have Twitter, but how do you feel about Benny Cunningham taking Stacy's job eventually this season?
I don't see it because if it was going to happen, it probably would have happened last year, although Cunningham was banged up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he means not involving injury, just talent-wise
Right,
taking the spot. Yeah, I don't really see it either. I mean, again, the big stat that everyone throws around, Stacy averaged, I believe, 2.9 yards per carry for his career so far. He's not like a huge yards per carry guy, but somewhat reliable. He can catch passes.
I wouldn't be shocked if Cunningham takes some touches away from him because he's a different kind of back.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's going to hurt Stacy enough to make a difference. I don't think it's going to get Cunningham enough numbers to make a difference on his end
Yeah.
either. That offense is going to struggle. So
I agree.
I don't know that anybody on that offense other than Stacy and maybe
Tavon Austin.
Tavon Austin maybe is going to be even worth keeping an eye on.
Potentially Kenny Britt if he gets his stuff together and Sean
Right.
Hill throws the ball. He's a weird. Everyone forgot about this guy because he's such a hot mess personally, but he's very talented. It's just who knows where he's even on the depth chart or how they feel about him. But he's on their team. He's on St. Louis. So anyway, thanks Scott. We'll
thank you,
keep
Scott.
throwing out questions if you got them.
And you can certainly log on to the Facebook page. Our Twitter is @footballdojo.
Yep.
We've got it up on the screen here. If you send a question over, we'll answer it in the next 20 minutes or so.
Yep.
We did get one question, and that brings us to our next game,
Yep.
which is Cleveland at Pittsburgh.
That is going to be not scintillating television. I can tell you that.
You know the scene in Billy Madison where he goes to school and the lunch lady's, I know how you like some sloppy, and she throws the sloppy joes down. That's what we're looking at with this game.
Basically, don't start anyone from Cleveland. Not this
I
week.
wouldn't.
I mean, a lot of people, there are a decent amount of people that may have bought in on the Ben Tate train, and they might have to play him.
I tell you what, you might have to play him because
but-
Dick LeBeau loves to eat up young quarterbacks.
Yeah, he does.
And Brian Hoyer is still technically a young quarterback.
Yeah.
And if Manziel gets in the game, God, I hope not. But
They're
if he
gonna, I guarantee you they have some sets for him.
they
do.
are going to
Yeah.
they
eat
said
him
they
alive.
have a package
Yeah.
for him.
I bet they do.
Yeah, I bet they do. The Ben Tate stat that I have for you is that last year when Arian Foster got hurt, Tate started as the lead back in 7 games. He only had 100-yard game.
Yeah.
And the Cleveland offense is not as good as Houston's was last year, even with the bad quarterback situation.
So the O-line doesn't compare.
Yeah.
Now, the opposite side of the ball, Pittsburgh's got some weapons. So
Pittsburgh does have some weapons.
The obvious weapon, Antonio Brown, is ridiculous.
Yep.
PPR format's top 5 receiver. In some leagues was a number 1 overall receiver, depending on how your scoring was set up. He's great. Is he still in the return game?
I think
I'm
so.
pretty sure he is.
Not exclusively, but he's one of the guys.
He's
that
mixed
returns
in there,
kicks
so
for
he
them.
could get you some extra points, even though he doesn't need to, because he's going to be a beast. Roethlisberger is the guy you love to hate. He's going to put up numbers. If you missed out on all the first and second tier quarterbacks, he's easily a third, if not second tier quarterback. So especially in 6-point touchdown leagues, obviously.
Also with Brown, he's going to be covered by Joe Hayden, but he is one of the few receivers to actually dominate Joe Hayden.
Yeah.
I think he had a touchdown in each game last year on him. So don't worry about that. If you're thinking about getting cute and not starting Antonio Brown because of Joe Hayden, don't start him anyway.
And then the Twitter question.
This comes at us from Jimmy, who is a longtime friend of mine. He's in a league with me, and he decided to troll me. But it is a legit question. And it goes, why did Mark draft something called a Marcus Wheaton? Did he lose a bet? This I have to hear some analysis for. So Jimmy and I are in an auction league, and it features a 2-flex lineup. One of the flexes can't be a running back. Can only be a receiver or a tight end.
That's devious.
So I ended up getting Marcus Wheaton at the end of the draft for $1. Now, if you don't know who Marcus Wheaton is, he's a second-year player. He is taking over for Emmanuel Sanders, who's now in Denver, who we're going to talk about in a second because that's a big topic as well. Wheaton's got skills. Wheaton's been compared to Mike Wallace by people that know more about football than I do, so I'll take their word for it. Obviously, he's not somebody that you can rely on until he proves it, but he's going to have Justin Gilbert, the rookie corner, on him today. So we'll see how that works out.
That's
It'll
a
be
cool
young guy
matchup.
against
Yeah.
young guy.
If you're unfortunate enough to have that as your local game, definitely keep an eye on
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
matchup.
one of the few things you can watch in this godforsaken football game.
Say if that's your local game,
If that's your
get
local
Sunday
game,
ticket
move.
or go to a bar.
Move. Go somewhere.
Because it means you either live in Pittsburgh or Cleveland. So yeah, move.
But Wheaton, if Wheaton plays the X receiver, which is what Wallace did, and he will, and he plays it as well as Wallace did, you've got a real find on your hands if you've got him as a sleeper.
If he's out there and you've got some other people, I mean, I even like him. I know everyone's hype on Sammy Watkins, but again, with the injury concerns already,
mean-
if Wheaton's out there and it is a PPR league, you could make an argument to, and it's not like a keeper dynasty.
Well, I don't know that
league or
Wheaton's going to
something.
catch a lot of pass. I don't think he's going to have a lot
No?
of volume. But
I mean, they threw a lot last year.
they do throw a lot. I mean, I don't
They're
think
not
he's
a
going to
running
catch as
team
many balls
anymore.
as Brown. Yeah, that's the other thing is that they're really not a running team anymore. I do like Le'Veon Bell because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. They talk about Blunt being the goal line back and all this. I don't think that's the case.
I really don't
see
either.
any reason why you don't just run Le'Veon Bell out there for 30 touches a game, and if he gets knocked around, he gets knocked around. You've got Blunt as insurance, but
Yeah. If you've got Bell, you definitely start him. He's a great play.
start him. Cleveland's defense is stronger than you think for a bad team,
Yeah.
but they're not strong enough to keep you from starting Bell.
No. All right. So let's use some mouthwash and get that out of our palate.
The final 1 o'clock game to cover is the Patriots at the Dolphins. I don't know. I mean,
Such a classic matchup.
I don't know. What do you think, Kurt? Which Miami running back's going to do something today?
That's a tough question.
That is a tough
I hit him
question.
with a tough one.
You did do that right
So I've
now.
been kind of quiet over here. Honestly, I have more questions for this game than I do answers. I really do.
We all do.
Do you start Brady? I mean, if he's your only option, of course. But I mean,
He's got a calf injury, but I think Giselle's worked that out. We're okay.
I gotta remember, I cannot I have to be censored on this.
Yes, this is
Because I was ready to pick it up and run
all
past it.
ages, all ages. Thank you.
The football was on the ground, and Drew was just gonna scoop it.
But for me, the two big questions are, like we talked about before, Gronk. I mean, yeah, you always start Gronk, I guess. But they're saying he's going to be limited in playtime, limited in even looks. I don't believe that. I think that's standard Patriots practice.
They're posturing. He's going to be 100% in full bore.
That's why I'm starting him this week.
Yeah.
The other question is do you try to like maybe sneak a guy in like a Danny Amendola? No, the thing is, people always think that I'm crazy for saying that, and I'm not saying you do, but don't be shocked when it happens.
No, I mean, it'll happen at some point. Amendola's going to have like a 12-catch, 150-yard, 2-touchdown game at some point. You just don't know when it's going to be.
That's why I bring it up this week.
Because his hips are still going to exist when it happens.
That's why I bring it up this week, because it's Miami.
If you're going to play Amendola, might as well be week 1.
I said that.
He's had the time to heal.
Saying that, I dropped him already.
Yeah.
I actually dropped him to pick up Philly's game.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
there you go.
It's an interesting play because he is that guy that always lets you down. Even in St. Louis, he looked like he was going to be the guy, and he always lets you down.
So on the other side of that, you got Mr. Reliable, Julian Edelman, who...
I love Edelman.
Edelman's a great play. PPR in
I
particular.
love Edelman on the lamp. On the carpet.
Do you really love Edelman?
I'm just naming things in the room. Edelman's a great PPR
I would
play.
love if he was right behind me.
Edelman's a great PPR play.
So is Vereen.
So is Vereen.
Let me bring up my love for Vereen.
Yeah, Vereen's the other one that Mike has a real thing.
I have Gio Bernard and Shane Vereen in almost every league, like that backfield. And because every league I play is point per reception, because if it's not, you shouldn't be playing it. I'm sorry. Points are fun, guys. Points are fun.
Points are fun.
So, Vereen, definitely play that guy. I mean,
Vereen, we mentioned this on the draft show.
I don't believe in any of those
Vereen is a
running backs.
PPR starting running back.
Easily.
He may only touch the ball 15 times, but probably 8 to 10 of them are going to be receptions or targets in the passing game. And
5 of them are going to be on the goal line.
Blunt's gone.
They're saying he has a role in every package.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but we'll find out.
Sounds like a good time either way.
As far as the Miami situation, I don't like Wallace on Revis Island. It's going to be a disaster. Tannehill's a decent stash for the future,
Not this game.
but not this game. And their running backs are, I don't know what they're going to do.
I'm saying Lamar Miller definitely puts up the stat this season because I still think Moreno's not fully healthy. They used him so hard last year. There was games where I swear they injected him on national TV to keep him in the game. Like he was abused last year. So I don't know. I like Lamar Miller. If you can get him, if you already got him, really. If you've already bought low, you can definitely sell high.
Wait for Miller to have a 100-yard game and score a touchdown and deal him immediately.
Yeah. Because that could get real muddy in that
it could be a
backfield.
total mess.
But, all right.
All right, on to the 4 o'clock games, which this week the NFL really stuck it to us here. We only have 2 4 o'clock games, but they're both pretty entertaining. Carolina's going to go to Tampa, and I don't think Cam Newton's going to play.
I don't think so either. I mean, I haven't seen any solid evidence yet. Because again, 4 o'clock game. If you got Cam Newton, that is viable.
I've got Newton and Kaepernick in a league, and I wasn't going to start Newton anyway. But that's the ideal situation. You start Kaepernick.
We'll get to him. Not a total question mark. You pretty much have to start him because you can't wait around. Who's the backup in Carolina? I should know this.
Derek Anderson.
Okay, so Derek, your option.
He did not.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. We got the great Doug Martin debate. Is Doug Martin the muscle hamster, or is he
Yes.
just the hamster?
No, he's the muscle hamster.
All right.
I think he's
I'm all
back in
for it.
business. I'm sad that I actually didn't target him in a lot of the drafts where I could have had him because I feel like he's definitely going to roll this year.
A lot of the different fantasy sites that I visit and stuff have a big debate over whether Vincent Jackson's worth a start today.
If
Because
you've got
Carolina's
him,
defense is so good. I have him in a league and I'm starting him. But I think with a guy with that much talent, you got to throw him out there and see. He might come up short, but he's their number one target, and they're going to need to do something. So, yeah, that's really all I've got for that. I wouldn't start Josh McCown.
no. I like McCown for the future, though. I mean, he did really well for me last year when he played.
Start against a bad defense, sure,
Yeah.
but let's not be mistaken. This Tampa Bay offense is not the Chicago offense. They're just not. I know they like to think that they've got the poor man's Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall over there with them getting Mike Evans, but they're not the same. Their offensive line's a mess. But no, I don't think you can keep Vincent Jackson on the bench despite that.
No, I mean, if you got him, you probably drafted him fairly high, and you have to play him.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go real crazy and gamble on someone that seems like a hot play today, but it's week 1. Everyone
Yeah.
seems hot. Like
That's the big
keep it simple.
That's the big overriding piece of advice that I think we'd all agree on is week 1, play the guys that you know are going to play. Take your most likely scenario and go with it. And don't get cute.
You've drafted these guys for a reason until they prove you wrong, and don't buy into. We're leading into the next game. I wanted to buy in that San Francisco looked horrible on offense in the preseason, which they did. But it's the preseason.
Yeah, but every year there's a team that looks like
Right.
garbage in the preseason.
It means
just because they
nothing.
only showed half their
So,
playbook and they
right.
come out and they go
Wipe the slate. This is a
beast mode.
game where it is points everywhere. Smorgasbord.
Yeah.
The Fantasy Brothers here, we share a team, and we have decided to pick up Kaepernick off the waiver wire. Yes, he was available in a 10-team league,
knew?
and we are starting him over Andrew Luck today. Which I've heard that question a lot from a lot of other people who have both those quarterbacks.
Probably the only time we'll do it, but
I think so too, but
I can't stay away from Dallas. I'll play
Dallas-
everybody against Dallas.
Dallas is us on defense. If we would literally put on a Cowboys jersey, that is literally who would be out. We might actually do a better job. That defense
Well, no, it's
is
because we'd actually show up.
it's going to be historically bad. It was already historically bad last year, and they lost people.
They were the 30th ranked defense last year, and they lost a bunch of
I
guys.
can't emphasize how bad they're going to be. But
and they're going to face Philly twice,
yeah,
and they're going to face the Niners.
I'm sorry,
now.
Cowboys fans. You're in for a
It's-
little bit of a long season.
They're going to have fun.
Yeah,
They're going
they
to score
will.
a bunch of points.
They will have fun.
But
Start
you know,
everyone on both teams this week. I don't think San Francisco's D is anywhere near what they used to be. They lost a lot of people. They've got some domestic abusers. They've got a lot of
who
issues
are
right
actually
now.
still playing. McDonald's going to
McDonald's still playing.
but it won't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
Did his
matter.
judgment come down before or after they amended the punishment for domestic
He
violence?
actually got arrested like the day after they amended the
Yeah,
policy.
so he's done if it comes
But
down.
he hasn't been charged yet. I don't
right.
think.
Say if it holds up, yeah, he's
He's not really the linchpin to their defense anyway, but it's
But he's a
something.
starting D
It's a
lineman.
distraction.
I mean, they don't have Bowman and they don't have Alden Smith.
Right.
So
I made this is a bold statement, not necessarily fantasy wise, in real football wise. I don't think San Francisco makes the playoffs this year. That's just my call.
honestly, I agree, and so do a lot of real analysts do as well.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't. I still like him. Like I said, you've got to start Crabtree.
Crabtree had a calf injury all week, but apparently he is good
He's
to go.
going to be starting at least as of
And I
right
would
now.
play
Giselle
him.
worked that out for him.
Yeah,
though.
Giselle
Yeah,
maybe
Giselle,
visited him
she's
too.
great at massages.
She's good with the calf muscle.
The calf muscle.
So-
calf muscle specialist.
You've got Kaepernick. A lot of people are downplaying Vernon Davis. I don't care. Play him. He's a monster.
I'd play. At least I'd
Yeah.
play any guy on both teams.
Right.
I mean, obviously it's all shades of gray. I mean, there's some guys that are better than others, but Terrence Williams is a good sleeper.
He's
start.
questionable for this week, though.
He's gonna play. I heard that he's gonna play, but obviously
keeps-
the inactives haven't come out yet for the 4
So
o'clock.
he's
games,
saying
but
that he's going to play, but it is a back injury, so that's
he
very
has a bruised back.
it is very, very touchy because
Yeah.
considering he may never walk.
Des
Yeah.
Bryant, monster game,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
usual.
Oh, Chris
no
Culliver's not gonna cover.
no
Des
one in the
Bryant
world can cover
competently
Des
now.
Bryant.
And that's
Nobody
going to
can
open
cover
up
Des
DeMarco
Bryant.
Murray for, I think,
Yeah.
a great game.
Murray's gonna have a great game. I think Witten gets his usual. He's going to have a very solid game.
He's going to get his 8 looks, probably 6 targets, and probably make 5
And-
catches.
Yeah.
He'll get all Whitney.
And I have Romo starting in one of my 2 quarterback leagues. I love him today. I love him all the time when he's healthy because they're going to be behind all season.
Oh,
Just
he's a
be
slinger.
careful when he breaks his pinky on his non-throwing hand. He'll miss 3 games.
I know it sucks, but
All right, we're coming down the home stretch
Yep.
here. We got 3 games left. The big national televised game tonight is Colts Broncos. This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be some points scored. I mean, I could see a scenario where Denver goes in there and just crushes them, or doesn't go in there. Has them come to them and
Yes.
crushes them.
welcomes them
And
home.
welcomes them to their abode. But this isn't tough. Start all your Broncos.
Yep.
I like Emmanuel Sanders.
I love Emmanuel Sanders.
Um,
I like the other guy. I wish I had his
I
name.
like
I'm an
Emmanuel
idiot.
Lewis too. He's good.
Dynamite?
We could play the Emmanuel. No, Emmanuel Lewis is Webster.
Same thing. Same era.
We're going early '80s references. All right. We did miss a 1:00 game, by the way. We missed Oakland and the Jets, and there's a reason for that because it's terrible.
Don't start anyone.
Anybody.
Derek Carr is interesting just because he's going to get his first NFL start, and he's looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
But don't start him. If you have MJD or Darren McFadden, don't start him.
I'm not a believer in Decker.
No.
There you go. There's your analysis.
Okay,
Chris
you're good.
Johnson's a China doll. There you go.
Well, of any of the players on any team, Chris Johnson could have a decent game. I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, by decent, you mean 60 yards and a touchdown?
And some catches. Maybe 3 or 4 catches.
Possibly.
All right. So moving on.
All right, we're back to Denver and Indy. Play all your Denver Broncos. The Colts are an interesting team because Denver's got a bunch of new players on defense that are all better than what they had. We already said we'd bench Luck in favor of Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm.
I still like Luck.
Yeah, Luck's still a great play.
I don't know. Trent Richardson.
No.
You guys go.
He still has to prove it. He has to prove himself.
He hasn't proved a damn thing yet.
No.
No, absolutely not. My question is Terrence Williams or Hakeem Nicks?
Williams easily.
Yeah, Terrence Williams.
Not between the two. But I'd say Williams number 2. He's a decent number 2 for this week. Do you play Hakeem Nicks at all?
No. That's another one who has to prove himself, and they have a lot of weapons still. And you got Dwayne Allen back. You've still got Fleener there. You've got Reggie Wayne back, and you've got Ty. So I mean, he is a 5th or 6th option in that offense. Now, again, a couple weeks from now, we could be saying, you know what, go pick him up if you didn't already have him. He's a good flex play. He won't be a wide receiver 1 or 2 this season at all.
I have him stashed away on
I
my bench.
don't think so. He had the talent to be that, but in that team, he's not.
Hakeem Nicks set a record for most catches and yards without a touchdown last year.
He's incredibly not clutch.
Did not hit the end zone once.
He's Greg Little-esque.
And he's always hurt.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get burned by saying this, but I'm willing to take the chance.
Yeah,
I don't want
That's,
Hakeem
like I
Nicks
said,
on
I have
anyone.
him stashed away for right now. I picked him up, I think, in the last round of the draft.
I get, yeah.
And I'm just banking on Reggie
right.
Wayne's going to get hurt again.
You know. Yeah, I mean, you could do worse, but I just don't have any faith in him.
He's a good bench warmer. Yeah. He's strong at that.
Looks good in the uniform.
Right.
Tall guy.
So now the
The
Monday
big
night.
broad shoulders. Yeah, it's good.
So we got the Monday night doubleheader.
Love it.
We got Giants and Lions. 2 teams that just love to find ways to lose.
Oh, absolutely.
I like Joik Bell better than Reggie Bush. I'm just gonna say it.
If I was a coach on the Lions, I would agree with you. But in fantasy, I still am going to ride Bush until he gets hurt over Bell.
Did he say he's gonna ride Bush until it? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
All right.
I'm going to be on
It's a
top of
family
it
show. He's gonna be on top of it
and
All right.
riding it.
Face
to a
deep
victory.
in Bush if you're
Right.
right.
And, until it falls off. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, both the running backs are good because the Giants' defense is miserable.
They're bad.
Stafford's gonna have a big game.
Calvin
Receivers
Johnson.
gonna have a big game.
Golden Tate could have a great game.
Golden Tate could have a great game.
The only startable player on the Giants, if you agree with me, is Rashad Jennings.
Rashad Jennings.
So that's his debut with a new team. We're all excited. There's
I
been
like
a lot
Rashad
of hype around
Jennings.
him.
There's been a story out that they said that he's going to be the bell cow. He's going to have all the carries to start. I like Jennings. I like Jennings a lot. I like him as a running back too. I like him as a starter. Victor Cruz is a big name, but a guy that I've benched in a couple of leagues for other guys, namely Crabtree, and I think I benched him for maybe T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah. And then I think
I have Ty starting this week.
Yeah, I think the Lions' defense actually, because Manning loves to throw the ball away, is still a decent play. They're in Detroit. They're an opportunistic defense.
Yeah, when picking defense, let's remember you don't need a good defense. You just need one that is going to get turnovers.
Right.
And in this game, why fight history?
Right.
Eli's going to throw some picks. All right, we're coming down the stretch here. Last game, San Diego, Arizona, which brings up Andre Ellington.
Could be out.
Oh, so sexy, but he's got a foot injury, and we don't like it. I'm not playing him. I got lucky, and I managed to have Joik Bell in a league where I have Ellington as well.
Yeah.
So I have at least some time
you can
to
wait
figure
around
it out. But if you've got another running back that's on a 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock game today, play him.
Yeah.
Because you don't want
It's
to
not
end up
looking
with a goose
good.
egg.
It's not
looking good.
John Brown is an interesting sleeper. He's looked really good. He made the team. You've got Fitzgerald there, catching passes from Palmer, who's going to be slinging it all season.
Be careful with Fitzgerald, though. He's had that nagging knee injury all preseason.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I say Brown has even more value because he's really impressed the coaching staff, and they say he's going to be involved in 60 to 70% of the plays. That's what they said from the coach's mouth. So he's an interesting one that not a lot of people even know who he is. But if you have a spot on your roster, go grab him. And then you got San Diego, who Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, players, San Diego players, because Arizona's depleted. They're down Darnell Dockett. They're down Darrell Washington. Play your guys.
Last year, they were number one in run defense.
Don't be scared.
But, again, with the players out, I think you still start Ryan Matthews.
Yeah.
Ryan Matthews is a player that had to prove himself, did last year if you looked at his stats. So now he's back into the prove me wrong mode. Yeah. So you still start him until he starts dropping.
One last thing as time is running out. Antonio Gates is a 50-50 shot to play in this game.
Lardurius.
If you got Gates, pick up Lardurius Green.
I love him.
Because Arizona doesn't cover the tight end well.
Yeah.
And you could get a real steal out of Lardarius if he's still
Absolutely.
out there.
I got to squeeze in my lay it on the line.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't bring it up before. I hate to say it because it's against my home team. I think Mohamed Sanu in all formats is a play. In PPR, maybe even as high as a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Because if Lardarius Webb is truly out, which I'm pretty sure he is, even without it, Ravens do not cover well across the middle of the field. Even in the red zone, Sanu is a threat. He's a big target.
And he's hurt the Ravens before.
He's hurt the Ravens, and the Bengals don't have any other static with Andrew Hawkins or Marvin Jones to compete. Yep.
Kirk, you have a big prediction that we can give you crap about next week if it doesn't work out?
I think T.Y. Hilton's going to have a big game.
T.Y. Hilton's going to have a big game. All right, guys. Well, when's our next podcast?
It will be Tuesday evening, so we're going to do a waiver wire show. It'll be like a half-hour show, just giving you some tips. Yeah. Most leagues, the waiver wire resets early Wednesday a.m., so you can go in there and reset your lineup, get rid of all the people you hate, get on the super buzzy people. Whoever gets injured, we'll tell you their backups.
Talk about big injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries.
So join us. It'll
Tuesday
be
at 8.
Yep.
And then next Sunday, noon.
Noon or possible. Take a look at our Facebook and
we'll keep it updated.
We'll keep you updated.
11:30, but it's probably going to be noon.
It'll be
again,
either 11:30 or noon. So check us out on Facebook.com/The Ninja Legion or TheNinjaLegion.com or .net. I'm sorry, .com or net. Email? No, just the website. Website.com. Sorry about that. Okay.
TheNinjaLegion.com.
Yep.
Saying hit us up on Twitter at Fantasy Dojo.
All week, send us at Fantasy.
Football Dojo.
We're dying to give you free horrible advice.
Yes.
At Football Dojo.
At Football Dojo.
All right, we're getting the wrap up signed. Thanks for watching, and hey, it's week 1.
Oh yeah.
Let
Good
the
luck,
let the
everyone.
pain begin.
Yep.